You're listening to ASOTU CON sessions by Space Auto, recorded live at ASOTU CON 2025. We're live on the ASOTU CON podcast stage, powered by Space Auto, and in the heart of the action here at ASOTU CON 2025. I'm Paul J Daly, and I'm here today with Kielan Whitner of Townsend, Lincoln, talking about leading from eye level. Kielan, thanks for giving us a few minutes today.
Excited to be here, man. Great conference.
So one of the things that I love is that you understand Syracuse University and Syracuse, the city, because you lived there and you played there. I
bleed orange, man. Upstate New York is a special place. Syracuse University, special place. I love it.
I love it. So, okay, let's get into it because we only have 10 minutes. You've had a lot of experience. I've been seeing your content on social media. I first came across you when you won the Automotive News 40 Under 40 award this year. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
And I think it is just, it seems like it is your moment to start, I won't even say start shining. I'm going to say like practicing out loud, because you are very open with what's going on in your store. You're very open with what you're thinking about and kind of working through these thoughts on leadership, practicing them in your stores. Where does that desire to do that even come from?
For sure. I think my sports background, like you talk about, playing college football, has kind of given me this desire for continuous improvement, right? And I feel like right now I'm in the age and the space to where social media is such a great sounding board for new ideas, getting different people's perspectives. I mean, everything I post, I get someone DMing me, especially anything I post on LinkedIn, people in automotive sharing different thoughts and ideas and encouragement with me. So it's been awesome. And, you know, there's some things I post to where I'm like, I don't know if this is the right idea, but I get a lot of good feedback from the right people.
Man, I think that is the best mentality, because a lot of people get precious about what they post. It's got to be the perfect post. What if someone has a problem with this? What if I say something that I disagree with next year? That's part of actually like maturing, right? Like that, putting your thoughts now. The thought I have next year might be different, but that's going to be shaped by your experience, and the experience comes from actually doing it. Exactly. So you have this principle I've been hearing you talking about, leading from eye level. Break that down for me.
For sure. I think, you know, we talk about culture a lot in car dealerships, and a lot of the time I think we talk about culture at the top, but a lot of times we don't see it trickle down through the store. So I think it's very important.
Challenge, right?
100%. Yeah. So what we've got to do is, you know, penetrate in the middle, and culture starts in the middle. And I think we have to be at eye level with our people. Our people have to feel comfortable being able to come to us, talk to us, share their thoughts and ideas. And I always look back on, you know, times in my past, whether it was a coach I had or a instructor at some point in school or a manager I had throughout the automotive industry. And the ones I really resonated with and wanted to learn and grow from were the ones that got to know me as a person first, right? And then when they were able to share constructive criticism with me, I took it a lot better than that manager or that coach that was just seemed to be yelling at me or screaming at me for no reason. So getting on eye level with our people, and I want to know you as a person first, and then accountability becomes, you know, commonplace.
So you went through a program, Greenway MIT.
Yep.
Tell me about that program. Not super familiar with it, and then how it shaped your perspective.
For sure, yeah. So Greenway Automotive Group, nothing but great things to say about them. They're out of Florida. They really took me under their wing. They provided a manager and training program, which I'm very fond of. I think a lot of times in automotive, we don't provide a great career path for people, and I think that makes it difficult for us to at first attract and then retain great talent, right? So that laid out a career path. Hey, basically on this timeline here, hitting these metrics, you'll be promoted into different levels.
What were you doing when you entered in? Were you selling?
For sure. When I entered in, I was selling cars. But previous to that, I worked in public accounting, right, to where you know your roadmap there. From day one, you know what it's going to take to get from staff to partner. So coming into Greenway, having that laid out for me was awesome. Came in selling cars, worked through the ranks there, cut my teeth with a great general manager, Lorenzo Pena. Nothing but great things to say about that guy. And he really shaped who I am as a general manager.
There was a post that did well that you made. Personally, I think it still has some headroom, and I would suggest that you keep reposting content around this.
For sure.
You laid out the career path from you going to business school and going into finance, and then what it would look like in automotive. And you were saying that was a distinguishing moment when you realized what it would take to get to a certain point down the finance route, and then what it would take in automotive. And talk through the contrast of those two things, because I think it's the conventional wisdom. Like, if you go and you get a great finance degree from a good school and you go in, you see what's going to take to be partner, and like you've got it made. But you looked at the two paths and you said, actually, I see one that's faster, more lucrative, and probably more fun.
Yeah, definitely. So in terms of compensation in automotive, you're really going to probably out-earn what you would do in terms of public accounting. And then it's the speed at which you can get there. I remember one of my first 6 months in working as a public accountant, the person above me left their senior role, and I was supposed to move into that role. So I started doing the work in that role, but they never received the promotion. And it took about 6 months for me to get the courage to ask my manager, hey, when can I get this promotion? And he came back to me and said, you're on the accelerated track. Took me another couple of weeks to ask, well, what's the accelerated versus the normal? And so,
he's like, you're on the accelerated track.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
What is
Thanks.
that?
And you left. You're like, wait a minute.
Exactly.
As he put me together.
The accelerated track, I would get promoted 6 months ahead of my colleagues, of where I'm, busting my butt to try to be as good as possible in this role. As to where in automotive, if you step up to the plate and you're ready to play, people are going to put you in position to be successful, and your income's uncapped and your ceiling's uncapped.
And how long have you been on that journey in auto?
I've been in automotive 6-7 years now.
7 years. Started by selling?
Started by selling cars.
Went into this manager and training program. What was the next role?
The next role from there, I went to the desk. I guess in college, so I probably have a couple extra years. In college, I wrote service. Service was my first entry into the car business.
That's really unique. I didn't know that about you. So writing service, having that experience, and then going through the sales lane,
For sure.
I think uniquely positions you to understand both sides.
100%.
Especially when you start in service. It's harder to go the other way.
100%. I almost recommend people start by writing service. I think that a quick lane advisor or a service advisor may be one of the most difficult roles inside the dealership. So I have a unique compassion for the people in that role, and also a lot of respect for the service department and understanding fixed operations.
Do any of your salespeople have that experience? Do they get to go into service? Have you worked that in?
So we have obviously a service to sales process to where they don't sell the cars, they just approach the customer. So they get experience getting a lot of no's, and I think that's important for salespeople. A lot of superstars work on the sales side, so I think it's important to build some resilience and take some no's.
Well, look, I know we don't have a lot of time today. We're going to sit down for longer, but your store has a unique way of handling a very common thing in humanity, not just dealerships, negativity.
Oh, yeah.
How do you handle negativity in the store? Because you talk about culture in the middle and all that, so you have to know how to do that. What's your approach?
For sure. If you're negative, you're going home for the day. And it's
Whoa,
almost...
Wait a minute, what?
It's almost become a good, funny part of our culture to where people understand, hey, if I've got a bad attitude, I need to take it home. They say negativity is about 30 to 40% more contagious than positivity.
I believe that, at least.
We can't have it. The huddles get created, and it's going to bring the rest of the team down. And people understand that, and they're not going to be mad. First couple of people that got sent home already negative, in a bad mood. But now we understand, hey, I don't need to bring the rest of the team down with me, so I'm going to remove myself for the day so we can go win.
So it's a blanket rule.
Blanket rule.
You start being negative. What's the step? Does someone watch? Is there a watch it?
Everybody knows.
Everybody gets a check.
Knows. Yeah, it's like, hey, let's keep it on the rails. And I understand things go on in the day that are difficult to deal with, but there's two ways we can look at it. We can look at it as opportunity, or I can, go pout in the corner for the rest of the day.
It's all about how you respond.
100%.
But you're right. One person is allowed to do it. Before you know it, there's two, and then there's 10. It's the reason, you come from sports. You have a hitter that's in a slump.
Yeah.
Get them away from everybody else.
Get them out of there.
Get them, put them in a different wing of the hotel.
Exactly.
Right? Get them out of there. Well, Kielan, it's been amazing to just spend a few minutes. Yes, I love just being a little part of your journey and your rise. Looking forward to doing a lot more of this and watching and learning from your growth.
Man, really appreciate being here. Excited for everything you guys are doing, and just very appreciative of all you guys do.
Well, we'll sit down again soon. Thanks for being at ASOTU CON.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to this ASOTU CON session brought to you by Space Auto. At ASOTU, we're obsessed with uniting people around one big idea, that thriving people are the only path to a thriving and profitable industry. If that resonates with you, head over to morethancars.com to join our email list and explore our full list of podcasts.